Welcome back to All This Math. This is Professor Parker, and we're doing some more Keystone Algebra 1 review. All right. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you drop a comment down below. Make sure you share this video with somebody else. All right. Let's read the question. It says, which expression is a factor of x squared minus 2x minus 24? So x squared minus 2x minus 24 is an expression itself. And the question is, which expression, which of these multiple choice expressions, is a factor of that? So there are a few ways to do this problem, right? But my suggestion would be to just factor this trinomial. And why is it called a trinomial? Prefix tri means three, right? Just like a tricycle has three wheels, right? This expression has three terms. Terms are separated by plus or minus signs, plus or minus signs. So x squared is one term. Negative 2x is another term. Negative 24 is another term. Those are three terms. Now, somebody might look at this and say, well, isn't 2 and x, aren't those two different terms? They're connected. They're combined. Negative 2 is the coefficient. X is the variable. They combine to make one term. So that's why this is a trinomial. 1, 2, 3. Now, there is a specific way to factor trinomials, especially when your lead coefficient, the lead coefficient, that's the coefficient of the variable with the biggest exponent, in this case, x squared, when your lead coefficient is a 1. How do I know it's a 1? Because nothing is written there. When there's no coefficient written, like here we have a negative 2, right? When there's no coefficient written, that means the coefficient is a positive 1. That's just a rule of algebra that you just have to memorize and know. Right? You have to know it and memorize it. So when the lead coefficient is 1, there's a specific way that we can factor this. What you would do is you set up your two parentheses, right? You want to have two binomials, right? One binomial, another binomial, right? You're going to have four terms. All right. Now, if your lead coefficient was not a 1, we wouldn't be able to necessarily do it this way. All right. But because our lead coefficient is a 1, we can do it this way. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to look for two factors of the constant at the end that add up to the middle term coefficient. Two factors, again, a factor pair, two factors of the constant at the end that also add up to the middle term coefficient. It's like a puzzle. All right. So what you might want to do is just list factors, right? List all the factors of negative 24. So since it's a negative, one of the numbers is going to have to be negative and one's got to be positive, because a negative times a positive equals a negative. We can't have two negatives because a negative times a negative equals a positive, but we need a negative number, right? I'm sorry, not a negative number. We need well, not right. I was pointing to the wrong number. We need this number to be negative, right? So we're not going to have two negatives. We're not going to have two positives. We need one negative, one positive, because that's the only way you can end up with a product, which is negative 24. So let's say negative 24 and 1, negative 12 and 2, negative 6 and 4, negative 8 and 3. What else we got? What else we got? Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? 2, 3, 4. No, that's it. So these are our four factor pairs. Now, from this list, right? Now, when you really get comfortable with this, you don't necessarily have to write down all the factor pairs. But until you get to that level where you're really comfortable with it and you can do this mentally, you should write down the factor pairs. All right. Which of these factor pairs would add up to negative 2? Does negative 24 and 1 add up? No. That adds up to negative 23. That's no good. What about negative 12 and 2? No. That adds up to negative 10. We need to add up to negative 2. In fact, let me underline that. We need to add up to negative 2. Multiply to make the last number, add to make the middle number. Multiply to make the last number, add to make the middle number. All right. Now, what about negative 6 and 4? Negative 6 plus 4 equals negative 2. So this is going to be our factor pair that we use. And negative 8 and 3 also is wrong because that adds up to negative 5. We don't want a negative 5. We want a negative 2. So negative 6 and 4. Now, how do we write this, though? We take the lead term, which is x squared. We break that down into x times x. So you put an x right here and you put an x right here. and then you put a -6 and a +4. So you do -6 and you do +4. So you have x minus 6 times x plus 4. And that is your final answer. That's the factored form of this, I should say, not the final answer, because the question is which expression is a factor of. Now, this is a factor, this is one factor, and this is another factor. X minus 6 is one of your factors, x plus 4 is your other factor. So if it says which expression is a factor, you're looking for the answer choice that is one of these two. It's not x minus 2, that's not one of them. So we're going to cross that off. It's not x minus 4. You got to be careful. The signs matter. The signs matter. It's not x minus 4. It's x minus 6. Because x minus 6 is one of our factors. X minus 12 is not one of our factors. These are our two factors. These are our two factors. X minus 6 and x plus 4. That's what we got. All right. So now if they'd have gave you x plus 4 as one of the choices, then you would have picked that. All right. And that's that. All right. So it's important to know how to factor, right? As long as you know how to factor trinomials, quadratic because the biggest exponent you see is a 2. Quadratic trinomial because 1, 2, 3, you got 3 terms, all right? Quadratic trinomials, right? When the lead coefficient is a 1, all you do, you look for the factor pair of the last term that also adds up to the coefficient of the middle term, all right? And sometimes it could be helpful to just list the factors, just list them, and then look at them, visualize, look at them and say, okay, which one of these two factor pairs also adds up to the middle term? You got to know how to do addition and subtraction with positive and negative numbers, though, also. That's another thing you got to, it's mandatory for you to be able to do. All right. All right. So, like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you drop a comment down below. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video with somebody else. All right. I'll see y'all later.